Dear students, we just saw a few different watercolor tools in Painter, and I'm going to be showing you how to really use this with an example. So I'm going to be painting a flower, and the first thing I would like to do is to get a photo that I did from a flower so that I can use its colors. And I'm going to be doing this on the mixing pad, and for this I'm going to upload the image into my mixing pad. We can see that this image is quite large. I'm going to decrease the size of this image by selecting the zoom tool and pressing command so that I can get the minus, and like this I can decrease the size of the image, and now I can just grab the hand and go a little bit to the side. So like this I can use the eyedropper to select a color. So I just made a drawing from the flower I would like to do, and after that I'm going to be working with realistic watercolor, and I'm going to use as a brush the variable realistisch nass. So I would like to have a brush that has a little bit of texture but not too much, and that the color floats a little bit, and I would like to say in which direction it can run. And just first understand, I'm going to stop painting, and I would like you guys to see I have now a standard layer. At the moment I start painting, I'm going to have a watercolor layer opening. So this brush runs up, and I would like this to run in no direction. Is this going to be working if I put it on 0? Yeah, so it runs to the center, which is more or less what I would like to have. And I have a very strong wind going on here, and I would like it to have a little bit less of the texture. So I'm going to Fließwiderstand. I'm reducing this a little bit, and at the moment it starts running. It's a little bit less, but not really much less. Let me check if I go even lower here. Yeah, it's running just to the side, which is not really good. Stop running. You can see that the paint is still rendering. It's getting out of the illustration. Okay, so I'll have to increase this a little bit, and I'm going to change this from Wolke to something smaller. Actually, I would like this effect, but not with the whole stuff running away like that. I'm going to reduce the amount of wind, and I check how this now results. Okay, looks much better for what I would like to have. So you can see now the difference between the first and the second option. So delete it all by Command A and delete button, and I just did the selection before and I saved it, so I'm going to bring up the selection so that we don't lose so much time with it, and I'm going to stop diffusion. And actually the good thing about this brush is actually that picking up the pink, it's going to give me the pink and the kind of violet that I have in this flower. So I'm just grabbing a quite large brush. I'm going with a very soft color here in the center, and I'm starting to get darker here to the sides. I can stop anytime and get my brush out of the illustration anytime I want as well. Since I stopped diffusion, this is not going to be having any result. It's not going to start diffusion when I take my brush out of the paper. Okay, it's looking quite okay. Just once. And I would like the corners to get very dark. So I'm adding much pressure around here. Good. So now I'm going to let the diffusion go on. It's nice to be looking at it. It's a little bit therapeutic. And at the moment I have the impression the diffusion is done. I have two options. The option of letting it the way it is, or I could just make a clean cut through the selection that I have in here. So I have the impression the diffusion is done. So now I could just say selection, inverse, delete, and now I have like a clean cut from my illustration. And I'm going to select another tool. I'm going to be working with this watercolor, and I would like to have this salty eraser. Okay, and now I would like to select another tool, back to realistic watercolor, the variant called leichte Borste. I picked up one color. Let me see if this is... It's not giving me much color. I think, well, Gewicht is quite high already. Can increase viscosity. Okay, this is giving me some of the lines I would like to have in here. I could stop rendering if my computer starts getting strange, if it starts kind of getting slow to follow the lines. Let me check how my flower is looking for now. It's okay. And I can just pick up the color around here. And if you would like, you can as well be making a combination of brushes, which is something that I'm going to be doing soon. So to do the upper part of it, I'm just going to be grabbing another tool, like under pastel, Kreide, colors. I'm going to select the Eckigkeit, since I would like to have something that is not transparent but covering. And I'm opening a new layer, although I think he would open a new layer himself without me having to do this right now. And like this I can just have a flower. So I can of course be working the details, and I can afterwards, like for example, pick up a color from the illustration. I have this Eckigkeit variant open, and I could just, for example, bring up a little bit more from this color into here to make the edges or the differences between the little petals from the flower. And afterwards I could grab just a mixing tool like this Mass Verwischen, and in this case it's important to have the pickup underlying color so that we can be working with the watercolor colors as well, and then just smear it around a little bit. Depending on the direction you're kind of grabbing, the color of course is going to be running more from the dark color or from the soft color or the light color. And in this case is the direction from the brushstroke very important as well. So if you think that you just lose the focus a little bit from the plant that we were painting, you can go back to selection, load selection, flower, inverse, and then everything that blurred a little bit away from this very straight line you can erase. Okay, you can be working much more details in here as well. I'm going to stop here just to give you guys a little input of how to be working with watercolor and other techniques together. And I'm going to talk to you on the next tutorial. Bye bye.